All right, welcome back. It's August 17th. It's about 4:30 p.m. This is week 20's inspection. It's actually only been 11 days since last week's inspection. I'm usually giving it about 14 to 16 days just to get back in the hive before any new queen cells form. The reason I'm in the hive a little early this week is because I'll be out of town starting tomorrow for about a week or so. So I didn't want the hive to go over the 16 days without getting inspected. It's about 84 degrees, feels like 95, and 82% humidity. And the WeatherBug app has the pollen at a 5.9 out of 10, with the predominant sources being grass and chinopods, something like that. I can't pronounce it. If you can see in the background, we have some goldenrod, which is it's begun to bloom. It hasn't turned yellow yet, but it should in the next week or two. So I'm gonna pop the top, remove the mason jars if they're empty. In fact, I think I'll remove them all anyway and take the two supers back inside just to condense the hive some. I'm not gonna feed them while I'm gone, mainly because I did not prepare any food, and with some of the plants starting to bloom again for the fall, I think they'll be okay for the 10 days. As you'll see, my beetle jails finally came in. Followed the directions. They give you like a recipe. I just used a local blackberry from our property and some honey, and then I just used some vegetable oil. It said fill it about a third of the way. I may have overfilled it just a little, so I'm very curious to see how these work. I'll get back in the hive once I get back from my trip for week 21 or 22's inspection in about 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll see some beetles in the beetle jails. So I'm gonna pop the top and get started for week 20. These things are empty. Finally replacing this thing, so we'll see how these new ones work. Top box, frame 3. You can see there where I smushed it. Had some sort of queen cell, possibly being newly created. A lot of stored nectar, a lot of stored pollen. Frame 5, the side that faces the exterior wall. Nice solid brood pattern. The spots that aren't capped, you can see larvae spun in various stages. This is the side that faces the inside of the chamber. Nice drawn comb, and this is one of the new frames. It's been in there for about 3 months, so I believe feeding them sugar water has helped them tremendously draw out a lot of the comb. Frame number 6, this side faces the inside of the hive, and the side that faces the outside, check this out, we have all kinds of queen cups being created, so I'm gonna squish these real fast. However, it's a nice solid brood pattern. Frame 7, the side that faces now the exterior, building it up, different spun larvae and eggs. However, if you look at this side, it's a fairly strange brood pattern. And if I can get close enough, if you look at the larva that's in there, this is very odd to me. This is box 1, well, the bottom box, frame 4. Nice brood pattern, another potential queen cell that I'll smush down, actually 2 of them. And first sign of a little bit of what looks like some drone brood. And there are a few bees actually being hatched right now, right there. A few bees emerging right there. Frame 6, very nice brood pattern. Little patch of drone brood down there. Overall, things are looking pretty good. Larvae in different stages. Let's go take a closer look now that we're 30 minutes into it. Alright, well that concludes week 20's inspection. The timer on the GoPro says 35 minutes. So not too bad, minus a few, few minutes for setup and things in between. I'd say about 30 minutes to inspect the hive. Found a few supersedral or swarm cells on a few of the frames, some in the top chamber, some in the bottom chamber. I'd have to go back and actually look at the video myself to determine what frames, but they didn't seem to have any royal jelly in there, which means there probably wasn't an egg. I think the hive is always preparing to supersede the queen or swarm if it gets too crowded. So considering, it didn't look like the queen actually laid an egg in either one of those or any of those cells, I don't think they're trying to supersede or swarm. But, part of the management, basically I just go in and tear down the cells and they'll reuse the comb. Overall, things are looking pretty good. I can't remember off the top of my head how many frames were drawn out in the top and bottom, but I'd say they are looking very well for fall. When I come back from my trip, I might put a super on just so they can start drawing out the blank foundation. I'll probably get back to feeding them as well, just to ramp them up as much as possible going into the winter. But overall, things look pretty good. A lot of capped brood, a lot of eggs and larvae in different stages. Didn't spot the queen, but honestly, after you see that first cell that clearly has a defined egg, and if the egg is standing upright, meaning the queen's been there in the last 24 hours, I really don't even look for her. I'm just glancing over the frames, making sure nothing weird's going on as far as supersedral and swarm cells. If I happen to see the queen, great. What else did I see? More capped brood cells than usual, but nothing to be too concerned about. At least I'm not. But overall, things are going great, and the icing on the cake for this week's inspection, unlike a week or so ago when I went to feed them, no stings. I think I had one bee get stuck in my glove, its stinger. No bees breached the veil, which is great, because that usually causes instant panic because it's a countdown until you get stung. So overall, things went extremely well. Check back in about 2 weeks for week 21, week 22's inspection. Thanks again for watching.